Hi, everyone on YouTube and all the NFL YouTube prognosticators and football fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back here once again, giving you my thoughts for the conference championship games and my Super Bowl 60 pick. Check it out. First off, for the conference championship games, I went for the AFC side. I went straight up in a push, I believe it was, and then I got the over and under wrong on that one. So I got the pick straight up, and I got the spread right, and I got the over and under wrong. And the NFC Championship game is the complete opposite of that. Well, we'll get to the whole complete record this year straight up from in against the spread and over and unders at the end of the year after the Super Bowl pick on my post Super Bowl show. So, anyways, let's kick things off on the AFC side. So we'll get things on rolling with that. And what happened when that? Really a great defensive game that was. It really was. It just goes to show that both teams had great defenses, and it was a defensive battle. I will go with this. If Bo Nix played, that game would have gone completely different. Not from winning standards, for completely different standards on its own. Patriots could have won with Bo Nix, maybe, but it would have been a lot higher game than that. Or maybe Denver would have won in a higher game like that. It probably would have gone the over and under on that one. But to say the least out of it, it came down to the special teams in the end. And not to criticize Sean Payton, but they should have gone for the kick when it was 4th and 1 during the end of the half. Instead, they went for it, and it cost them the game. So you can argue that special teams didn't show up for that. Yes. That's more of my take on that for Denver. For Sean Payton's wise, this was a Sean Payton move that he did. So you have to have guts to be a coach, to pull a play like that. It's like hitting the lottery. You hit it, you hit it. You miss, you miss. That's the way it's standard on that. It worked with them in Super Bowl 45, with the onside kick in the second half, but worked on other plays in that. And there's some other plays that didn't work out for him, and that play didn't work out for him. I'm not saying he's a bad coach or criticize him. A great coach. I will say that. Future Hall of Famer for sure. But that play, that should have been like, okay, we got weather situation coming. Let's get many points as you can. It didn't work out the way it did for Denver. And then when the second half rolled around, Patriots got the ball back and they got a field goal. All of a sudden, snow comes in. Snow comes in. And it just was awfully... the Patriots took a complete advantage of that with the all-white uniforms. And they're wearing those on Super Bowl 60 as a designated home team. To say the least out of that, the Patriots defense came out to play when they needed in the second half on special teams and defense. That's how the game won. And Drake May did not commit a ball turnover. That was key, one of those key success to the Patriots winning that championship. And now the Warriors of the Patriots are representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. What a turn of events with my Patriots right now. We were desperate for at least 2 years, and they were desperate for early years as well, but in the post-Brady era, they were the complete disasters. But Mike Vrabel comes in, turned things around. I would not be surprised if Mike Vrabel gets Coach of the Year for that alone. That would not surprise me at all. We'll find out tonight. I think it's tonight for the NFL honors. I can't remember, but that's a really good field story for the Patriots right now. All of a sudden, let's switch over to the NFC side. Between the Seahawks and Rams. That game was just a back and forth game. It could have been a quarterback duel for Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold for that alone. But despite that, these were two teams that just didn't have an offense at all. It was just a complete battle. You could tell both teams wanted to go to the Super Bowl offensively. With Matthew Stafford maybe an MVP candidate. Possibly Drake May too, but I'm not. But, it is what it is with the MVP candidates. I'm not really that hard argument on that. But to say the least out of it. But it came down to one play, and that was the fourth quarter. At the end of the game. That they did not go out of bounds on time. If they went out of bounds, they probably would have had a shot and maybe would have gone for the game winner. And the Rams would have been in the Super Bowl right now instead of Seattle. But Seattle's defense came up with the stop they needed on that last play, and it went down, didn't go down and out of bounds, and it sealed the deal for Seattle. That's why Seattle came what they did in the Super Bowl. Why they're in the Super Bowl right now. And I will say this. I know there's some Viking fans are going to kill me with this, but they're probably kicking themselves right now that give away Sam Darnold to Seattle. Because for this case, for Sam Darnold, I'm not saying Sam Darnold's a bad quarterback. I think he's a decent quarterback. But my case scenario is if Minnesota would have sticked with Sam Darnold and trusted him instead of going for J.J. McCarthy for another year just to get him going, maybe Minnesota would have been in the Super Bowl right now. Maybe they would have been in the Super Bowl. That's my way of thinking of it. That's just me. I mean, I was thinking a year ago, Minnesota should just keep Sam Darnold. Maybe J.J. McCarthy can learn another year under him. But Minnesota wasn't thinking that. So if I had to pick one team that is probably really kicking themselves right now, it's probably actually two teams, actually. The Tennessee Titans, who they got rid of Mike Vrabel, and Sam Darnold. For the Minnesota Vikings, for getting rid of Sam Darnold. So, those are the two teams that are probably kicking themselves right now. If they would have kept those two guys, respectively, maybe Tennessee and Minnesota would have gone to the Super Bowl. Probably. But, all right, but that's my take on it from both sides on the coin from the respective conference championship games. Let's get on to my Super Bowl 50 pick. Okay, here we are, Super Bowl 60. My New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. Two teams collided with two teams who did not expect to be in the Super Bowl right now. Eventually, I didn't have them in my Super Bowl. I think I had the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions in that. I had Kansas City winning it. Man, that was a complete dud of that Super Bowl. And that was complete dud. And now, all of a sudden, we got two teams who were not randomly expected. You could talk about that photo of on the week one when all the team's best players were on there, captured in Lombardi, and they had Darnold and May in there. I think that's a bunch of bull. I think they just did it for photo opportunity. I didn't think they expected that either. But both teams came here complete opposite ways. My Patriots, eventually, yes, they had a great offense, but defensively, they came out strong on that one. That's the key momentum. And Drake May playing on an NFL level is definitely a bonus. But we're looking at guys that are complete disarray on both sides over the years. And now all of a sudden, they're all in the Super Bowl. In Seattle's case, offensively, that's the reason why they're in their position right now. So that's the key momentum for those two teams. Both teams are playing like lights out on fire right now. But straight up, I don't know who I'm going to pick, but the line right now, the over and under is 46.5. And the line is 4.5. I'm not crazy. I don't mind the over and under on that one. I'm not crazy on both of it, actually, to be honest with you. I'm still completely compelling on that. But everyone's picking Seattle to win. I can see why. Because Sam Darnold's playing lights out. But, But to my knowledge, To my knowledge. But to my knowledge on that, I'm sorry, I was just thinking a little bit myself. I was still undecided for a while for this. But Seattle's opening up as the favorites to win by 4.5 in this game. I'm not saying it as a Patriots fan. I'm just saying it as a person itself. I'm thinking, why 4.5 on this one? Personally, I think it's going to come out to a field goal difference. But not the way people thinking it is. I really think that Seattle hasn't played a defense like the Patriots in the playoffs. San Francisco and the Rams were not. They were both banged up on the injuries on defense on that. The Patriots case scenario, they play defense on the top 5 in there with the Chargers, I believe, number 3, Houston number 1, and I think Denver was number 4 or 2. I can't remember, but they played those 3 teams alone. They were in top 5 in defense, and the Patriots just shred them in that. Well, for Drake Maiden, he may have got a couple of fumbles here and there, but they still hang on to it. And the key momentum on that, I think both teams are going to really have an offensive struggle in this, but they might catch up in the second half. That's my theory in the Super Bowl. I think that's the way it's going to go down right there. It's going to come down to a field goal differential. And as the Patriots special teams, they're one of the top in the league on that, on special teams. And that, I think that's going to be the key difference in the Super Bowl. A lot of people say the special teams are 2/3 of the game. And they don't really mean much. As football fans itself, they mean a lot. And if you got a great special teams, like the Patriots do, and they did it over the years on that, that's how they win Super Bowls. With even with the field goal with Adam Vinatieri, and of course you can make Matthew Slater in part of it over the years, making great stops on punts and everything like that. I believe the Patriots special teams is going to make a big difference in this year's Super Bowl. In the case scenario with that, I'm actually going to pull off the upset in this one. I'm picking my Patriots to win the Super Bowl, capturing their 7th Super Bowl, and they be the first without Brady and Belichick in this one. Yep, you heard me right. I'm going to pick the upset in this one. I'm picking my Patriots to win the Super Bowl in this one. And like I mentioned on the line, Seattle is opening up 4.5-point favorites in this game. And I'm going to take my Patriots plus 4.5 on this one. The over and under, it's 46.5. And I might go under 46.5 in this game. With this final score is going to be my Patriots 24, Seattle 21. Again, my upset, the Patriots upset the Seattle in Super Bowl 60. I'm going to take the Patriots plus 4.5 in the under 46.5. Okay, the shout out for the Super Bowl 60, it'll be none other than my good old buddy, the Godfather himself, Gio Knows, who has been the master of the NFL YouTube prognosticators for the longest time. So I want to say a big shout out to him. And while you're at it, no Dr. Squatch soap this week, but I got a clone this week you guys can check out. So it's called Giovanni Reserve Privé. Yep. Gentleman Giovanni Reserve Privé right here. Check this cologne out right here. Right. Check this out right here. So, anyways, make this a long story short. I got this as a Christmas gift this year for a friend of mine. To make this long story short, I put a couple of sprays on that. Everywhere I go, everyone's been looking at me. What am I wearing? What am I wearing? It's really good. It smells nice. You get a lot of iris in this one. Chestnuts and Irish chestnuts, vanilla. It's a sweet It's a sweet vanilla fragrance with some iris in this. This is a really good cologne right here. I highly recommend this one out. So, and it's also a compliment getter. I'm like a long story short. I went out with my buddy last night. We had some fun. And I got girls came up to me and like, ooh, you smell nice and everything. It's an adult club, just say. I'm not. It was for my friend's birthday. I'm not gonna go any details about it. Make a long story short, we were just having some fun. It was a fun night with my friends, and it was my friend's birthday. We treated him out. That's all it was. But I wore this on, and I got a lot of people asking what I was wearing. So that's the front, that's the back. But definitely check out Giovanni, the Gentleman Giovanni Reserve Privé right here. So it will be in the link down in the description down below. And until then, this is Andrew Warren saying, rock out and eat your breakfast.